There is a place that is spoken about only in whispers, a dark area that spawns the beginnings of urban legends, a place where anything can happen and usually does. During the light of day, it hides just outside of view, but when the sun goes down, spirits, creatures of the night, roam free, and things do go bump in the night. It is in every state and every country, and there is no escaping it, no matter how safe you feel behind your locked doors and latched windows. So we invite you to turn down the lights and turn up your radio while we join Dave Schrader and Tim Dennis, your hosts, on a journey into the darkness on the edge of town.
Hello and welcome. It's Monday and you're tuned into an all-new week filled with supernatural and strange. I'm your host, Dave Schrader, along with me, Tim Dennis. It's a Supernatural News Monday and ParaShare, so we're going to get to your stories in a little bit. Tim, we have a unique week lined up for our listeners this week. It's called Turn Your Eyes to the Skies. We have a full week of UFO, alien, and abduction stories lined up. These are some really amazing guests, and it was, I don't know if it's synchronicity or what, but one after another, I was reached out by different guests from different places around the world, and they have these stories to share with us. Authors, researchers, experiencers. So we're going to talk this week about turning your eyes to the skies. That's what's going to go on this week on the Best in Paranormal Talk Radio. And I think it's going to be kind of cool. It'll be interesting to hear from all of these different people, different walks of life, different belief systems, all seeing, witnessing, and experiencing very similar phenomena.
Very nice.
Yeah, I thought so. Kind of a cool little deal. And I do want to mention, too, there's something that you guys can do to help us out. Podcast One every year does this survey. All right. And it's time for that survey again. So if you want to help keep our podcast free to download and have very minimal ads, responses for this podcast survey, they help us align the appropriate advertisers to our audience. And the survey is very short. It's completely anonymous, and it takes no more than 5 minutes. And there are two easy ways to begin doing the survey. You can go to www.podcastone.com/mysurvey, or just go to podcastone.com and click on the survey banner. If you filled out a survey in the past, we thank you, but we still need you to do it again. You do all of us here at Beyond the Darkness and Podcast One a huge favor by filling this out. So I just thank you in advance for supporting our program and taking the time to complete the survey. It goes a long way. And let's storm that Podcast One with all of our audience so they see how strong the Darkness Radio, Beyond the Darkness Radio audience is for turning in these surveys. Again, it remains completely anonymous, but it helps us out considerably. So please consider doing that. Go to podcastone.com and click on the survey banner. Let's get started in the world of supernatural news. Tim, where shall we begin tonight?
Well, Dave, we're going to Texas. And have you ever, bought something and then had buyer's remorse? Yeah, like a huge object that cost you a lot of money?
Yes. Too numerous to mention.
Too numerous to mention? That's quite a few times, my friend. Well, one Texas couple has accidentally purchased a haunted house, and now they want to sell it. Sometimes you just accidentally do stuff like that, Dave. You just, yeah,
okay.
It's an accident.
Weird.
Yeah.
Okay.
3 years ago, a nice North Texas couple wanted to purchase a nice little house to remodel as a family project. That didn't exactly go according to plan. Now, Phil and Kim Kirchhoff own the Haunted Hill House in Mineral Wells, and they say it was a known location of paranormal activity before they even purchased it. That according to neighbors. There's allegedly a female ghost who hums happily in the kitchen. That doesn't seem like the most menacing ghost in the world.
No.
A ghost child named Joshua who has conversations with house guests and ghost children who get on your back and sit beside you. So far, nothing real.
Pretty innocuous,
Yeah.
right? Just kind of maybe more annoying than terrifying.
Right. Don't worry, though. The Kirchhoffs don't live in the house, so the spooky friends aren't bothering them. Pam doesn't even... Yeah. They don't even live there, Dave. Yeah.
Well, must be nice, Kirchhoffs.
I
Hand
know.
me a few bucks. A couple shillings, please.
Right. Pam doesn't even go near the house. Her husband says this. They've been renting the house out to paranormal investigators and other ghost lovers for a few $100s a night, and Phil even helps in the ghost hunting. But he only halfway believes in ghosts, Dave. Yeah.
The half that goes to the bank and deposits those checks, I bet.
Yeah, that's right. That's the half that truly believes.
That part is definitely believing.
Yeah. And he's no longer interested in being a part-time ghost hunter. He's pretty much done with the whole bit, I guess. The Kirchhoffs are selling the house for $99,900. But Phil said he refuses to let the house be sold to somebody who wants to demolish it. Instead, he said he'd like the house to continue to be a haunted house business or even become a paranormal research center. He said he hasn't gotten any offers on the house, but a few people are interested. If you're brave enough to buy it, Phil warns against removing anything from the house. Spirits are attached to their belongings, after all. That according to Phil. There you go.
So the house is for sale. 99 grand is really not that bad for a house. Does it give any details? How many rooms? No. How many bathrooms? How many pits to hell?
No, nothing like that.
How many hanging closets? Anything like that?
No hanging closets.
No suicide foyers?
No suicide foyers. No, not even a fainting couch, Dave. It's no details. He just straight up research center. That's what he's telling you. Yeah.
Well, I can kick in. I think I got $1,230 if you want to kick in the rest.
Ooh, I'm
just
a little short.
What? What? Don't you make the big money?
No.
I mean, I see you panhandling under the Hennepin Bridge all the time.
I do, yeah. Unfortunately, donations are down, Dave. I don't know if you know this, but ticket prices went up for the Vikings in that new stadium. And, so people are short. They're real short.
Well, that sucks. Yeah. All right. Well, we tried at least. Okay, where are we going to go? Can I make a really cool mention here?
Sure.
We're starting something a little early this season. Every year we do our Halloween for Hunger campaign. Mm-hmm. And I promise I'm only going to do one mention an episode.
Okay.
But Halloween for Hunger is a huge program that Tim and I are very proud of. And we've been doing this for, 8 years, where we help raise money for Second Harvest Heartland. And last year we set a goal, what we believe to be a reasonable goal of $5,000. We partnered with Coast to Coast AM on this. And between their audience and our audience, we were able to raise $13,800 last year.
Wow.
Yeah, marinate on that a little bit. That's a lot of food that we were able to help supply to people right here in the United States that need it. Right in our communities, right in our backyards. Second Harvest Heartland has a buying program that they can purchase food in a way that every $1 you donate, Tim. So if you reach into your pocket right now, that's it. Pass the keys, Tim. Yep, and move over that chunk of lint, and then you'll fill down a little bit deeper.
It's a big chunk
past
of
the
lint.
certs. Yeah. Push the certs out of the way, Tim. You feel that kind of crinkly thing that you probably haven't had out of that pocket since 2007.
Okay.
That's a single dollar bill, Tim. And if you pull that dollar bill out right now look at it. Okay. Take a look at that $1 bill.
Okay.
One lonely dollar bill.
All right.
You could go down to the market and a fast food place and look in that dollar menu.
Sure.
And you could plop down $1. It's probably going to be $1.06 after taxes, but you could plop down that buck and get a sandwich, one sandwich for $1. And that's not bad, because if you're starving, that's great.
Oh, yeah. Well, yeah.
What if I told you, Tim, that $1, if you donated it to Second Harvest Heartland, will provide 3 meals, 3 square meals to one person in need? Not $1 item off of the menu, Tim. Not one hot dog off the roller at the gas station. I'm talking $1 equals 3 square meals for families in need.
Well, it's a lot better than the one item, that's for sure.
Exactly. And that's why we love Second Harvest Heartland. It's provable, it's bankable, and we know where the money goes. The money goes such a far way to help out people in our own community. So here's how you can help. We're going to have banners up on our site that'll take you to the donation page, or just email me, dave@darknessradio.com. dave@darknessradio.com. And when you do that, it's real simple. I'll send you a link. You click the link and you make a donation any size you want. $1, $5 million, $2 trillion in case there's, in case that prince that keeps emailing me from Abu Dhabi,
right,
looking for a place to put all that money that he has and he wants to get out, he can now donate the money right to Second Harvest Heartland.
Wow.
And Tim, for $1 trillion, that's going to supply 9 trillion meals.
Jeez.
So just think about that. Yeah, he could do a lot of good with that.
Well, yeah.
So if you want to do it, whether it's $1 or $3 trillion, anything in between there, please just email me, dave@darknessradio.com. We know that this is a giving, loving audience, and you guys are great. And seriously, just $1. Our audience is such. We get around 250,000 downloads of this episode after it airs. 250,000 downloads. If all of you kicked in $1, we would supply over 750,000 meals. That's 750,000 meals for families in need. So you can check our website. The banner will be up someday this week at darknessradio.com. Click that banner and it'll take you there. Or just email me directly at dave@darknessradio.com and I'll send you the link. And I don't mean to get emotional about it, but it touches my heart to know the work that we've done with our audience over the last 8 years. And last year was the biggest year yet with 13,000. We're starting a little early this year. I believe we can hit over 15,000. We're going to go from now until the first weekend in November collecting for this. So please help us get there. We'll keep updating you throughout the weeks and let you know how the collections are going. All right, Tim, where's our next story taking us?
We better collect quick, Dave, according to this guy. Notice I'm dripping with sarcasm as I read this. There's an exorcist out there who claims that the hurricanes, floods, and, of course, North Korea are all signs of an imminent biblical apocalypse, Dave. So we better collect quickly.
Really? Okay.
An exorcist has claimed that recent storms and flooding are signs of an imminent biblical apocalypse. I'm sure you people have heard this one before. It's one of your favorite hits on America's Top 40 here on Beyond the Darkness.
In America's Top 40, Biblical Apocalypse coming up next, right off the charts.
The demon hunter also claims that the devil is behind North Korean leader Kim Jong-un. At least he's behind that haircut. I mean,
get thee behind me, devil, and stand behind Kim Jong-un.
Well, not too close behind him. I think he's had the kimchi.
Ooh, kimchi.
Yeah.
Sounds like a Korean gymnast.
Well, she is.
Now she's coming to the mats, kimchi. She's North Korea's biggest hopes for the hoops this year. Are the hoops a thing? I don't know. I don't watch the Olympics.
Isn't hopes for the hoops some sort of North Korean fundraising thing?
Could be, yeah.
It might be.
All right, so apocalyptic ending coming soon to a planet soon, or what?
Yes. Don Antonio Mattatelli made the alarming claims in response to a string of natural disasters in his home in the country of Italy, Dave. Of course, he's from Italy.
I'm going to tell you once. I'm going to tell you twice. These are tsunamis and these are hurricanes and the volcanoes and the earthquakes. The world, she's ready to come to the end, and I've got the answer for you. Rapture insurance. That's right. You too can survive the rapture. That can be the only thing, right? Rapture insurance.
Well, yeah.
Insurance.
Man, if Blondie would have had rapture insurance back in the day, they'd still be collecting.
Oh, trust me, she's still collecting on Rapture.
Yeah.
that song will not die, Tim. That is the Ice baby of the late 70s, I think.
Don Antonio Mattatelli said, all natural disasters such as hurricanes and earthquakes demonstrates that the end of the world is coming. It will not be the end of the world in general, but of this world, yes.
I'm going to tell you, the Lord, he has grabbed a hold of the ball that we call the earth. He's a shaker like a Etch-a-Sketch. It's about to become a totally new thing. He's erasing all of the crap that has been spun out before, and the apocalypse is upon us, Tim.
Don Antonio also went on to say, natural phenomenon so sudden and powerful shows that there is no...
Natural what?
What's that?
Natural what?
Natural phenomena.
Do.
Phenomena, Dave.
Do.
Phenomena. So sudden and powerful should show this.
Okay.
Yeah. That there is no confidence in the future, and we have come to an end of modernity. Wow, that's a hard word to say.
Reading this story.
Modernity. Don Antonio is one of the most famous exorcists in Italy. Just ask him, he'll tell you. And regularly makes public statements warning of the devil's work. Also, I almost called him Dan Antonio, but Dan Antonio was totally something different.
Wasn't he the quarterback for the Dolphins? I used to love Dan Antonio.
Denny Terrio was on Dan's Fever.
Denny Terrio. That's right. I recognize that name.
Yeah.
And Dan Marino. Oh, God, again. Oops, sorry. All right.
Yeah, that's two different guys. They both danced brilliantly in the pocket. One didn't, one did. One, right. Yeah, one tore his Achilles.
We'll leave it to the viewers to decide which one was better with balls and dancing in the pocket.
Right, exactly. Don Antonio.
Okay, football thing.
Don Antonio made his latest pronouncements after Italy became the latest in a series of countries to be hit by extreme weather. The country has suffered torrential rainfall and heavy flooding, which has left 8 people dead. In the past week, the country has also been hit by an earthquake, the epicenter of which was in Rieli province in the Laszlo region of Italy. Notice I'm pronouncing it wrong just for all you kids out there. As well as speaking about natural disasters, Don Antonio commented on this current geopolitical situation. He said, behind Kim Jong-un is certainly Satan. He's right behind his right pant leg. You got to look really carefully.
Hey, everybody, it's just me, Satan. Nothing to see here. Keep moving.
And he sounds like Ralph the dog. In North Korea.
Nope. Satan the devil here. That's all. Just Satan the devil. No Ralph the dog.
In North Korea, all are forbidden religion, and there is only the idolatry of the leader who has replaced God. That was the quote from Don Antonio. And there you be. That's really all he had to say there, Dave.
Oh, he's saying the leader is kind of the puppet of Satan.
Yeah, he's essentially, yeah. As opposed to being the puppet on Team America, that was his father.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
All right, and where are we going to go next in the world of strange and supernatural news?
Well, Dave, we go from God to Jesus. It turns out that Jesus...
They're close.
Yeah.
They're close.
Yeah.
It'd be easy to do that, sure.
Yeah. It turns out that Jesus loves a good photobomb.
Doesn't he? Oh, he is at parties, Tim. I just, you're sitting there, you're giving each other a kiss for anniversary. He's right behind you, giving you the bunny ears behind your ear. He's changing your water into wine and your Kool-Aid into, beer. He's a party favor. I mean, he was really a fun guy. Every party I have Jesus show up at, the laughs don't stop from the minute he gets in the door, Tim.
It's too true, Dave. I mean, I find that, he loves to do the spyglass trick, where he burns ants with his hands. And no, I'm kidding. I don't know what I'm talking about. It turns out that there's a family who just lined up for a little picture, Dave. They just wanted to take a little picture, but it turns out that prankster Jesus just had to show up and make his presence known.
Oh, God. Did he have the lampshade on again, or did he have one of the helmets with the beer on each side? Oh, Jesus, you crazy guy.
Well, the second Cumulus Irish family was stunned as Jesus photobombed their holiday picture taken on Mayo Mountain. Oh, I don't know if you're familiar with Mayo Mountain, but it goes good with a ham and cheese sandwich.
Yes, it does.
It does. The Cloud of Turin, as a Fox family spot, would appear to be the face of our Lord in the clouds in a summit snap. He did it.
Or as we like to call him at our parties, Madcap Messiah. He's showing up in the clouds above him for this photograph.
Right. Yeah. He just kind of pops up there.
M&M.
He's like,
Madcap Messiah.
He's like, what's happening?
Yeah.
He does that.
Maybe he should hang out at the party in North Korea and try to straighten stuff up there instead of hanging out in the clouds. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, that might be better.
Help us out a little, Jesus.
Yeah. An Irish family.
Like old Kim Jong-il or whatever his name's water. Turn it into wine a couple times. It'll chill him out.
Oh, that's all we need is a drunk leader firing an atomic weapon.
Not on wine. Yeah. Do you get angry on wine? I thought wine is the happy booze, isn't it?
Oh, no. You can get pissy.
I watch winos always seem very funny to me. beer and heavy liquor drinkers, they can be bastards. But people, I don't know, you see them drinking wine out of a cheap brown paper bag, Tim. They always seem to be in a pretty good mood. They're just looking for a sandwich and a little love. That's all.
I don't think Kim Jong-un is a very happy person at all. No matter what.
Maybe because nobody's put water into red wine yet. That's all I'm saying. It's worth a try. Let's all focus our intention. Start turning all of his water into red wine.
I don't know if that's a great idea.
Such a poop fun.
And
that's why the Madcap Messiah doesn't hang out with you at the parties, Tim.
Who's to say that he's not my homeboy?
Mm-hmm.
I got the T-shirt.
Jesus is my homeboy?
Yeah. I got the T-shirt. An Irish family. What?
I've been proven wrong.
An Irish family was stunned when Jesus photobombed their holiday picture taken on, you pronounce this for me, Dave. It's Croagh.
Yeah, Crow.
There you go. Crow Patrick. Mm-hmm. I think it's
Crow
still
Patrick.
Patrick.
Sure, why not?
Sure.
Yeah, Patrick. Crow Patrick.
Crow Patrick.
This guy dislocated my uvula.
Yeah, that'll happen. Brothers Liam and Roy Fox, at least I think I got that one right, brought their young kids.
Oasis?
What's that?
Aren't they the lead singers of Oasis?
They are, yes. Yeah, it's Jesus photobombed Oasis. Yeah.
Wonderwall. Supernova.
They brought their young kids up the Holy Mayo Mountain with the
me.
That's what it says.
Isn't that where the kids came out of?
Well,
didn't the kids come out of the Holy Magic?
It's the Holy Mayo Mountain, Dave.
Oh, the Holy Mayo Mountain.
And I don't think they came out of it. They might have been accelerated out of it, but, that's neither here nor there. With brother-in-law Thomas Morgan, because he's important. How, you may ask? They posed for a quick group shot outside of St. Patrick's Chapel at the summit before making their descent. But when they inspected the pictures later, they saw what appeared to be the face of our Lord in the clouds. And they saw a Bible passage actually prophesies the apparition. In the Bible, the passage says, "Just as we have borne the image of the man of dust, we shall also bear the image of the man in heaven," or of heaven, rather. When she showed us that, the hairs on the back of my neck stood up. I don't know what made her think to even Google the time, but I was absolutely stunned. "What are the chances?" she said. Roy said,
pretty good, I guess.
I guess they are pretty good.
First time there and they got a picture of Jesus. That's pretty good odds.
That is pretty good odds. Roy said what's been fantastic is the reaction from people seeing it for the first time and who might have not been overly religious. They can't get over it. You see those jokey things where Jesus appears on a slice of toast or whatever, but the detail is in this is so clear. It gets
sure. Dismiss the oil slick Jesus and Jesus on toast because yours is so much more clear. Well, it hardly seems fair to me.
It's the Jesus cloud. I mean, how can you argue that?
It's pretty good.
Yeah. It gets even better the more you blow it up, he said. When you be blowing up Jesus and stuff.
Right, yeah. When you enlarge it, I believe is the correct terminology. Sure, when you enlarge the image of cloudy Jesus.
Cloudy Jesus.
That sounds like a really good jazz band name. Let's start our own jazz band. Yeah, man. Welcome to the nightclub. Our guest tonight is Cloudy Jesus. Put your hands together for Cloudy Jesus.
Cloudy Jesus. Isn't that like the dope smoking member of the Wu-Tang Clan?
I don't know, but I just like the name Wu-Tang. Okay.
I'm pretty sure it is. The only
Cloudy
thing,
Jesus, baby.
Cloudy Jesus. There's Big Baby Jesus. That was Old Dirty Bastard's pseudonym. And then there's Cloudy Jesus. The only thing that's been disappointing is the reaction from some priests, according to Roy, that have had a look. They were dismissive, very dismissive.
I'm sorry. I don't see no Jesus. It looks like an Elmo. That's all I see is an Elmo up into the clouds. It's not the Messiah's face. What am I telling you I see is the face of a furry Muppet known as an Elmo.
Hello, everybody.
It's just, he's up there in the clouds. Yeah.
Yeah, well, sure. Good on Elmo. So the priests are poo-pooing. So this family's feeling pretty good, and they feel like they've made a connection with the Lord, and the priest's first thought is, no, didn't happen. Sorry.
Yeah. Roy
nice
says,
way to release the steam from their point. Yeah.
Roy says, I don't know why, but they didn't seem very interested. Then when you show it to other people, they burst into tears. It's been an incredible experience. The Holy Family.
Well, Jesus and Elmo have both had that effect on people, to be honest. So that could be it.
I think maybe Elmo more than Jesus. I mean, have you ever been to one of these Sesame Street on Ice things?
No, but I've had to pay for them, and trust me, I've burst into tears on numerous occasions because of that.
Yeah, see? The Holy Family made a number of appearances in the most unexpected places, Dave. In 2009, Limerick parishioners were stunned when an image of the Blessed Virgin Mary.
That's easy for you to say.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I had a little something stuck between my teeth there.
Sounded like it.
A image of the Blessed Virgin Mary holding a child appeared on a tree stump. There was that story. Local priest, Father Willie Russell, who has one of the best priestly names ever, insisted there's nothing there. It's just a tree. People shouldn't worship a tree. Evidently, he's never heard of any other religion before. In the same year, mother of three, 36-year-old Claire Allen saw the face of Jesus in the lid of a Marmite jar when she was preparing toast for her youngest boy in South Wales. And in 2006, Donegal student Catherine McDermott saw an image of Jesus in her Guinness, which is the best place you could ever see it. She told the Irish Sun.
See, that's the madcap Messiah I know, showing up in a glass of Guinness.
Well, yeah. I wonder if he parted the foam. That would have been something right there.
He just looks up at her and he's like, I don't need beer goggles, baby. I'm Madcap Messiah.
I'm seeing you through the Guinness.
That's right.
He said, I'm taking it as a sign that Jesus wants me to drink more. That's what Catherine McDermott told the press when.
There's a good chance that the Lord just told me he wants me to drink more. That's why he showed up in the big pint of Guinness, Tim.
Oh, so
that was my Elmo impersonation.
That's a very good Irish Elmo, by the way. I don't know if people realize it. That's dead on, actually.
All right, where are we going next?
Indonesia.
Okay. What's going on in Indonesia?
Well, in many parts of Indonesia, you've got healers. This one happens to be a paranormal healer who was allegedly murdered by a disgruntled customer who paid $150 million of their version of dollars. I don't know what the currency is there.
I think that translates to $11.72 here in America.
Probably.
No. 74 cents. Sorry about that. I was very close.
Well, you're going to get emails now, Dave. You know that.
I know. $11.74. I've been corrected. Go ahead. Right. So they spent a little over $100 million of their money
for an unsuccessful cure. In many parts of Indonesia, belief in the supernatural remains strong, and there are people willing to spend large amounts of money on magical cures for what ails them. A so-called paranormal healer was recently killed in the Batang Regency of Central Java, and police believe the person who orchestrated the alleged murder was a customer who had dropped $150 million. Now, Dave, that's a little bit more than what you had stated. That's actually $11,325 US.
Oh, yeah. Well, I just moved a decimal point over once or twice. I was close, though.
On an unsuccessful cure. On Wednesday morning, the Temanggung police arrested 7 people suspected of the murder. I can hear you giggling over there. I hear you. Suspected of the murder of 35-year-old Sugeng Raharo, who was found lifeless with stab wounds and a plastic bag over his head in a rubber plantation in Salosabran village on September 9th.
Wait, was that the attempt to heal him? Wrapping his head in plastic and stabbing? Was the idea we're going to let the demons out that way?
I'm not sure. I'll find out here. Sugeng was known to be a paranormal healer who had the power to cure various illnesses. No, that wasn't. That was the healer who got that treatment, not the healer giving the treatment. One of those arrested.
He kind of got Paulie Walnuts and Big Pussy Bumpin' Sarrowed.
Yeah, so you say.
Right?
Sure.
The Sopranos kind of thing.
Yeah.
The enforcers were sent out to take care of this cat is what I'm saying.
There you go. Yeah.
Yeah, they put a healing on him. That's faux show.
Right. One of those arrested, a woman identified by police as Dewey, D-E-W-I, I'll just call him Dewey, has been accused of masterminding the murder plot after she paid Sugeng the $150 million to be cured of an as yet undisclosed illness. Police say that Dewey, along with a man she was close to by the name of Vishnu, recruited 5 other men to bring Segang to the rubber plantation and beat him to death. The 5 other actors who received money from Dewey also were paid between $600,000 to $1 million in that currency.
Good God!
Yeah, the amount depending on their respective roles. That according to
wait, a rubber plantation. I was unaware. Is that where condoms come from? Do you have to pull them off of trees?
Actually, Dave, when one condom loves another very much, yeah, that's how condoms are made.
I have 8 children, Tim. The condoms. I'm not sure how they come about, but obviously they come from a rubber plantation.
Yeah, well, a lot of things come from the rubber plantation. Tires, sneakers, soles,
just right. Wow, just growing right there on trees, huh?
Yeah, they have rubber trees. Yeah, they have ants that try to carry away those rubber tree plants too.
I did not know that.
Mm-hmm.
Whoops! There goes another rubber tree plant right now.
Yeah, see, they've got high hopes, Dave. They really
that's what everybody should have at this point.
Yeah.
So, boy, she went all out. She didn't stop with just getting one hit man. She hired the eligible man on hand.
Yeah.
To take care of this paranormal healer.
There were 5. Yep, there were 5.
Wow.
That according to Temanggung Police Chief Mesa Sogriva, that was quoted as saying that there were 5 other actors that received money anywhere from $600,000 to $1 million of their currency. After 5 days of investigation, police were able to track down the 7 suspects, and there are 7 of them. They have yet not announced which charges each will face. So there you go.
Sounds like the setup for the Reservoir Dogs Part 2.
There's a lot of people involved.
Yeah, where's Quentin Tarantino when you need him?
Tintin Quarantino? No idea.
Yeah, neither do I. All right. Well, that's an unfortunate business to get in. If you don't provide on obviously $150 million healing, they seem to get a little bitchy about it in Indonesia.
I guess so.
Healing might not be that might be a riskier job than like a 7-Eleven clerk after hours here in the United States.
I think you're right.
All right. Okay, where are we going next?
We're going to Texas. Hurricane Harvey recently moved through, and not only did it leave devastation, it left a mysterious eyeless sea creature with razor-sharp teeth. Nobody seems to know what it is. Yeah.
Get with a stick.
Oh, what?
Poke it with a stick.
Poke it with a stick?
Yeah. I said stick, Tim. Poke it with a stick.
With a stick.
So we're clear. Yeah, a stick.
Well, if you poke it with the other thing, I mean, good Lord
it's going
knows.
to cost you.
Yeah.
I've seen the photograph of this thing. Again, not knowing enough about sea life because I refuse to go near it. It, to me, looks like it could be like a bloated dolphin that has mange or something.
Dolphins have mange?
I don't know, but doesn't it? Everything right now from chupacabra to Bigfoot always turns out to be some kind of normal animal with mange. This just looks like maybe it's just a bloated porpoise with rosacea. I'm not sure.
You totally fell asleep in oceanology class at Winona State, didn't you?
Minnesota, what kind of oceanography class? I'm sorry, I'm a little punchy, folks. I've done a week's worth of recording of the show. Then I stayed up 2 nights late night doing Coast to Coast AM this past weekend. I'm running on about 3 hours of sleep over the last 5 days. So I'm sorry, just the surreality of all of these weird comments are starting to interweave themselves into my waking justice. And I just feel like things are getting out of control here. But
no, there's no such thing as sterility with you.
No.
Sterility. Okay.
Oh, God, no. I'm starting to regret spitting in a cup for Ancestry.com, Tim. I'm wondering what's going to come knocking on my door in the future here. And that could be a dolphin with mange. I don't know.
I was going to say there's something laying on the beach over there in Texas.
But don't get me wrong. I'm very pleased to have found my daughter. That's very good news. And my grandson, who I get to meet in Chicago at the upcoming Chicago Paracon. Tickets are on sale, not to watch me meet my but you can still attend Big Chicago Paracon. Tim and I will be there, and apparently my oldest born daughter will be visiting and stopping by. So come on out and make fun of the hillbillies. We'll be there.
You just got a promo in the middle of a news story.
Sorry. You can find tickets at darknessevents.com. That's darknessevents.com. Click on the Chicago Paracon banner to get your tickets and went out and have a good time with us. Anyway, back to Texas, where a bloated, dead, kind of
sea creature.
amalgam sea creature of
sharp teeth. Got a tail.
And dolphin with rosacea is washed up.
Right. Hurricane Harvey didn't just displace people, it displaced sea creatures too. Last week, Preeti Desai of the National Audubon Society took to Twitter to help identify a mysterious creature she found washed onto a Texas City beach after Hurricane Harvey. The apparently eyeless dead animal sported a mouthful of razor-sharp teeth and a large cylinder-shaped body. Now, that's kind of harsh on the sea creature. I mean, I'm sure.
Sounds like a dolphin with mange. That's what I'm telling you.
Kind of looks like one, too.
A rabid dolphin with mange. Wasn't that in the movie Better Off Dead? Weren't they filming the movie Foam, which was about a rabid dolphin attacking the shoreline? That's another obscure reference from your pal, Darkness Dave.
My initial thought was that it might be a sea lamprey, but when I got close enough, I realized there was no way that's what it was, particularly based on the mouth, Desai said. On first glance, it looked like something from the deep sea to me, according to Desai. My initial thought was that it might be a sea lamprey, but when I got close, I realized that there was no way that was what it was, particularly based on the mouth. We squished it around a bit and even turned it over, but couldn't come up with any other ideas.
Well, yeah, that's when you take a fork to it, mix it with a little Miracle Whip, put it on a cracker, and see how it tastes. Then you'll know if it came from the sea.
Oh, that's true. It might be chicken of the sea.
It could be.
You never know. So
chicken of the sea with mange.
Delicious.
Yeah.
So Desai posted the pictures on Twitter and asked biologists for help. This is the kind of thing that's perfect for Twitter. Oh, yeah. Yes, it is.
There's such a random amount of geniuses on there that will weigh in on it. Yeah. And what was it expected to be from the Twitterverse analyzing it from a photograph?
Well, Desai said there are so many scientists and researchers on the platform, and they're very willing to jump in and figure out things like this, along with millions of other mangy varmints. The biologists who responded to Desai's post believe that the sea monster was some type of eel, but they had a hard time pegging just what kind. I know what kind. What kind?
It's a dead eel with mange, Tim. I'm no scientist, but I do watch a lot of TV when I haven't slept enough. So I think I've seen this creature before. Yeah. And eel, why is that always the answer? If it's on land and we can't understand it, it's a dog with mange. If it's in the sea, it is some kind of eel.
Well, a lamprey, which is an eel, right? I guess. Yeah, you're right. It's probably an eel. Yeah. I mentally smacked my forehead because once that was suggested, I could absolutely see the eel shape, Desai said. The most popular opinion was that the animal was a fang-toothed snake eel. Your favorite kind, Dave. Also known as the tusky eel. You know what?
Hello, everybody. I am Tusky Eel. Who wants to party down in my part of the coral reef?
I think that's pretty mean. They could have just called him the big-boned eel, not the tusky eel.
Tusky.
Which is native to the Gulf of Mexico. Tusky eels live in waters of about 30 to 90 meters deep and spend most of their time hidden away, but do occasionally venture into shallows. Tusky eels also have eyes, but they are small and could have been decomposed by the time Desai found the creature's body. Dr. Kenneth Tye of the Smithsonian National Museum of Natural History believes the dead creature is a tusky eel, but he said that it could also be in another eel family, either the garden or conger eels. However, its large teeth rule out most species in those families.
Science is boring. Why can't scientists ever jump on it and be like, I don't know, this obviously is some new creature that's meant to destroy the earth? We could just add that to the list of apocalyptic things heading our way. Tsunamis, earthquakes, hurricanes, Tim. I think this would just be another seal from the apocalyptic breakdown.
So even if he said it was a Xenomystax congroides?
I would totally disbelieve him.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. That sounds like something you'd see in an old episode of Roadrunner when they're trying to tell you what genus the creature is from.
Or a Bathyroconger vicinus?
Yeah. See, wasn't it better when it was just unknown and it was creepy and it looked horrible and you're poking at it on the beach with a stick?
Now that it's not an eel with mange, you're bored with it?
Right. The science is all, I believe it could be the Homo bogenilio of the genus of the Nerectal Phloemialodo family. Shut up. Shut up, Jerry Lewis, you stupid scientist. Let the mystery live. Just go, I'm not sure what it is. Goo, goo, giggity goo, kick it back into the ocean. Let us just, and then just have it vanish overnight.
You'd rather Bobby Jack Jim Bob get on Twitter and go, I once ate one of them things coming out that there ocean.
Yeah, I'm going to cut it up with a chainsaw and blow it up. That's what I want to see.
I tell you what, I'm going to build a fire up on that beach and fry that thing up.
Yeah, that's it. Let's just blow it up. That's the way we should handle all wash up on the beach.
Like that scene from Reno 911 Miami where
I've never watched Reno 911. I couldn't tell.
You haven't?
No, I haven't.
Oh my gosh.
I'm too busy making babies.
Oh my God.
Him. And obviously it was Reno 911.
Oh my. You missed a good movie.
I had a good time anyway.
Well, 11 seconds doesn't count as opposed to the hour and a half of the movie, which is hilarious.
Works for me. And obviously for my 8 children.
Well, all right. We move on to North Carolina, I guess. Speaking of attracting people.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. A North Carolina mom invents a spray she says will attract any Bigfoot within a mile and a half.
What?
Evidently, this woman doesn't get enough human action.
Wow.
So we move on to Bigfoot. Bow chicka wow wow. The nation's endless search for proof of Bigfoot's existence may soon come to an end because now we got us some horny spray from a North Carolina woman who doesn't have enough action. No, a North Carolina-based wife and mother has homebrewed a spray that she says can attract any Bigfoot within a mile and a half. Sold at $7 a bottle, the environmentally friendly Bigfoot juice. That's what it's called. Don't wear it out. Also doubles as a bug spray. Oh, God. Says creator Allie Megan Webb, who runs Happy Body Care out of Marion.
Doesn't this seem like she's setting herself up for false advertising charges?
Oh, yes.
I mean, if you're going to tell me that it's going to attract a Bigfoot, I'm going to buy a gallon of it. I'm going to swim in it. And I'm going to run naked through the woods looking for Bigfoot.
And he's going to find you.
I want to be the first to cross-pollinate the genomes.
What if you find
Bigfoot? Here, Bigfoot.
What if you're doing that? You strip down, you bathe yourself in a little bit of Bigfoot juice, and you're running through the woods thinking you're going to get it, and it gets you.
It's all right. Somewhere in the woods. Oh, yeah. I could be the front line of the Bigfoot buffet. I'm just saying, Tim.
I'm just saying it gets you in a way you weren't expecting.
Need more sleep. My mind is swimming right now. I still have to read Not Dumb Crimes. That's tomorrow. I've got to read ParaShare coming up. All right, pull it together, Dave.
So Allie Megan Webb, who runs Happy Body Care out of Marion, says she created the Bigfoot juice, Bigfoot juice, sitting at her, well, that's what she was hoping to get, I guess, sitting at her kitchen table. How do you know it works? Webb asked, laughing. That's a tough question. I guess I could ask, how do you know it doesn't work?
Because there's no Bigfoot around, you moron.
There is anecdotal proof her spray does, in fact, attract a Bigfoot.
Okay. All right.
Field tests have been done, she said, and they include a recent outing by the research group Bigfoot 911, in which a Bigfoot sighting was reported. It happened.
Is this the attachment to Reno 911?
Yes, it is. Yeah.
Doesn't it sound like something that would have been on Reno 911?
It does, actually.
Bigfoot juice. We better put it out to try it.
Yeah, it totally sounds like a plot from Reno 911. It happened the first week of August in the woods of McDowell County. The report made national news, according to this article. I never saw it. I think that's enough to say it can attract a Bigfoot, says Webb. To attract a Bigfoot, you need a smell that is woodsy enough to keep from scaring him off, but slightly different enough to make him curious and come to investigate, if you know what I mean.
So do you think if I dipped in this juice running through the woods naked, I'm going to find a curious Bigfoot?
I think you might. Market reaction to the spray, which is said to be sold on the internet, has ranged from excitement to giggles. This includes a guy named Jeffrey Wilson of Hawaii who wanted to know if she made a troll repellent, which is probably a good question, by teaming up with...
Yeah, it's called high karate.
High karate. Do they still make that?
Polo.
Oh, yeah, that's a good one. Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought that was that was douche juice.
Yeah. Bigfoot juice, douche juice. It's all the same thing.
Yeah.
Mix it and spray it, and assholes come out of the woodwork. I'm telling you.
By teaming up with local citizens statewide, the North Carolina Candid Critters Wildlife Survey continues to increase scientists' knowledge of mammal distribution in the state as the largest ever camera trap study of its kind. Webb, who also created a dog deodorant called Stinky Dog Spray, understands people may doubt the product. She won't sweat there is a Bigfoot herself, but I do believe there is something out there in the woods, she says. I'm definitely not trying to make fun of people who believe. A lot of people are more serious about this juice than I thought. There are people around the world inclined to believe Bigfoot is real. That includes her husband, Corey, a member of Bigfoot 911 since 2014. He was out the night of August 4th when Bigfoot 911 reported spotting a large bipedal animal covered in hair. Corey didn't see it himself, but he's a believer. She gives him a lot of credit for Bigfoot juice. He was using her home-concocted bug spray during Bigfoot hunts and asked her to make something less feminine smelling. She started whipping things together and found a more musky outdoor smell. Next thing you know, the team spotted a Bigfoot.
Wow.
Yeah. There you go.
Well, good on her.
Mm-hmm.
And it's time now to introduce our new advertiser. Hey, everybody, Rolf the dog here for Dirty Stinky Dog Spray. Have you ever been out running in the fields, taking a swim with your master, and come back to lick yourself clean and realize, I stink? Well, we've got the answer. Stinky Dog Spray, now available by ParaShare.
Be a dog, not a douche. Stinky dog.
That's
spray.
right. Be a dog, not a douche. I'm Rolf the dog. This imitation was poorly done by Dave Schrader.
Yay!
All right, where are we going next?
Rendlesham Forest.
Oh, I'll be going to Rendlesham Forest, Tim.
That was very carry of you. I'll be going to Rendlesham Forest.
Yes, I've been to Rendlesham, and I shall be returning to Rendlesham at the end of this week, as a matter of fact. Friday, I'll be jetting my way, and please keep me in your prayers and thoughts, folks, because I'm going back over to England. I'm showing them I'm not afraid. I ain't afraid to know terrorists, Tim. I ain't afraid. We're going over with 40 of our closest friends and not lovers, but fans and friends of the show. Oh, God. I need sleep in a bad way. And going out there to have our final, I don't want to say destination.
The final countdown?
No, I'm going to go out there again. We're going to have a good time with our group. This is the final European trip for this year, and we're heading out there. So keep us in your prayers and thoughts that they keep things at bay where it comes to this terrorist nonsense, because I've got family and friends back home that need me. I've got an army of darkness that needs to be led by their slightly slumberless leader, Tim, and I need to be back for that. So keep me in your thoughts and prayers as we head overseas. But I will be visiting Rendlesham. What story have you got for me regarding Rendlesham?
Well, there's a photograph and new evidence that may solve the Rendlesham UFO mystery once and for all, according to this article. UFO researcher Russ Callahan believes he may have solved this case once and for all, and it has nothing to do with aliens, but a UFO capsule may be made by humans, he insists. Mr. Callahan reveals his new theory at the Outer Limits magazine's first ever UFO conference in Hull on Saturday to a stunned audience. The Rendlesham legend, which happened around neighboring bases, Royal Air Force Woodbridge and Royal Air Force Bentwaters, has been dubbed Britain's Roswell in a nod to the mystery of the UFO crash said to have taken place outside the town in New Mexico in July of 1947. The UK suspected alien event saw 3 U.S. officers based at RAF Bentwaters claim a triangular-shaped craft landed in neighboring woods in the early hours of December 26, 1980. The men first noticed lights and then a UFO on the floor and could not account for a 40-minute period while searching in the woods when their communication systems went off-air. The 3, John Burroughs, Bud Steffens, and James Peniston, later told of feeling static as they observed the object's flashing lights and hieroglyphic-like markings. Former Colonel Charles Halt, now 77, the most senior witness, who was base deputy commander at the time, was not present during the first encounter, but was told the next morning and investigated that night after officers shouted, "It's back! The UFO's back!" He went to investigate with a team who found 3 1.5-inch impact holes, damage to the canopies of trees, and higher radiation levels in the landing area. He said they then saw a mysterious object in a field between the woods and a farmhouse with a red light moving. He went on to say it came towards us. And then part of this article is blocked here, and it says, up and down in the trees, it was oval about 100 to 150 yards away with a dark center and red around it. He claimed there was sparks coming from it, and after a minute it exploded and disappeared. They then spotted objects in the sky 3,000 to 4,000 feet up. Due to the high interest in the case, the British Ministry of Defence investigated the case and concluded the lights from Orfordness Lighthouse had been responsible for what was seen over the 2 nights in terms of lights. However, this has not satisfied most UFO investigators, failing to explain claims of the UFO being on the ground on the first night. Mr. Callahan also does not believe the lighthouse was fully responsible for what happened, although he did cast doubt on the recent claims from Mr. Hall, who insists a real UFO was probably involved. Mr. Callahan said, "No, it wasn't the lighthouse, in my opinion." Some investigators claim the timing of the lighthouse rotations were in sync with the light sightings observed by Mr. Halt on the second night. But Mr. Callahan was not convinced, saying the old-style analogous recorder used might have had inaccurate timings. He said, "I don't think they were recording the lighthouse as everyone on the base was aware of where the lighthouse was." However, Mr. Callahan had spoken with the lighthouse attendant working that night who told him that he had met with Mr. Halt. The lighthouse worker said the eyewitnesses accepted the lights he described did probably originate from the lighthouse. Mr. Callahan believes if aliens were involved, there would have been more mystery observations on the night. He said, "We are talking about nuclear bases. If something invaded from space, they would know about it, and there would be a big reaction." There was allegedly photos and film taken of the UFO at the time, but we never have seen any of it. From there, it goes on to say that the United States Air Force facility known as Area 51 is in a remote area of Nevada. Current purpose... Oh, that's the Area 51 stuff. Skip that.
Rendlesham was really cool, and they've created this walk. So you can take this amazing kind of walk, this historic walk, and there are posts that you can read about and listen in on what exactly happened at these spots. And it's a great, I think, a couple-mile walk, and it takes you right to the exact spot in the woods where they saw it, and they actually have a reproduction of this craft, and you get right up to it and can photograph with it. It was really, as strange as it sounds, that was one of my favorite parts of the visit, was just walking, and believe it or not, me in the out of doors, Tim, was walking through the woods in this area, knowing that this is where a really famous UFO sighting and where it came down, and we have access to it. We don't have that access to Roswell. You can get to the town, but you can't get to the crash site. And this place allows you to get right to where it was witnessed. And you get to see from all the different vantage points. They've got these signs up as you're walking around. You're like, okay, this is where it was first seen. So from here, you look straight ahead and you can see where the lights were in the sky. And it was really a very cool part of the entire trip to me.
The article goes on to say that Mr. Callahan had discovered that the 67th Aerospace Rescue and Recovery Squadron was based at RAF Woodbridge at the time of the incident, and that the ARRS was a separate unit to Mr. Halt's and would have not have had to have briefed them on what they were doing at the time. So essentially they had made a mock-up and that they were practicing in another area. This squadron was involved in the recovery of the command module capsules used during the Apollo moon missions, and during the 1980s, the recovery of films sent back to Earth in capsules from spy satellites. They were recovered by a helicopter once they landed back down, and the ARRS used a mock-up capsule for practice sessions. Mr. Callahan produced images of the capsule that was actually used at RAF Woodbridge on the night in question. He said documentary filmmakers in the Rendlesham case had always left out details about the ARRS crew in the capsule. He said there was no Apollo in 1980, but satellite photographs were taken on film that made entry back to Earth on a mini capsule. The ARRS practiced on a mock-up. This is one that was at Bentwaters. It is in Florida now. What is interesting is it was on 3 legs. The 3 airmen who claimed to see the UFO on the first night said the craft was also on 3 legs, and it had sketched it as such. Mr. Callahan said that they discovered the ARRS did a practice run on Christmas Day night of 1980, but that it had run into problems, and that the chopper pilot dropped the capsule in Rendlesham Forest. He said they came back the next night to recover it, and this could explain what they men say, but nothing I am saying here is proof positive. Mr. Callahan believes the recovery operation could explain the subsequent large military presence in the forest, and that the ARRS would not have had to brief Colonel Halt's squadron on what had happened. However, the theory does not explain why the Ministry of Defense's investigation report did not offer this up as an explanation for the sighting and just blamed it on the lighthouse. So there you go.
I don't know that I buy that. I mean, it's interesting, but you would have thought something would have come up at that time. They would have said, wait, it looked like what? And they would have been able to kind of pair it up and try to save the embarrassment of making that type of announcement.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
I
don't know. That's just my thoughts. I could be wrong. All right. How many more stories do we have, sir?
We've got, let's see here, a few more. Probably 3 more, I'm guessing.
All right. Let's go. Where are we going next?
September 23rd, Dave. That's where we're going. The end of the world, my friend.
What?
The end of the world as we know it.
That's not good. I just asked for prayers. I'm going to be in England on that date, Tim.
Well, you better pray your ass survives September 23rd.
What's happening on September 23rd, Tim?
Well, according to Bible prophecy, Dave, the end of the world. Now, some people are going crazy about this whole Bible prophecy having to do with astrology and things and different planets being in different solar systems and blah, 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 blah. And it's all a sign that we're going to die. But let me just recap it for you briefly. A verse in the Bible proves that the end of the world is nigh on September 23rd, at least according to some Christians. And that's what they've claimed. The quote, which allegedly has a code that matches with events from the eclipse onward, is found in Luke 21 to 25 to 26. Or Luke 21, 25 to 26. Christian numerologists claim that the Bible numbers match with August 21st, the date of the Great American Solar Eclipse, August 25th, when Hurricane Harvey hit, and August 26th, when it flooded Houston and Texas. Chuck Campbell wrote in an article entitled "The End of the World Will Be September 23rd, Seems Legit," which was published on knoxnews.com. One popular Bible quote currently making the rounds as evidence is Luke 21, 25 through 26, which says in Luke 21, 25, "There will be signs in the sun, moon, and stars. On the earth nations will be in anguish and perplexity at the roaring and tossing of the sea. people will faint from terror, apprehensive of what is coming on the world, for the heavenly bodies will be shaken. In Luke 21:26, it says, men's hearts failing them for fear, and for looking after those things which are coming on the earth, for the powers of heaven shall be shaken. The footnote here, the eclipse was August 21st. Hurricane Harvey hit Texas on August 25th, flooded Houston on August 26th. Luke 21:25 and 26 says, see how that works? According to these naysayers or these people.
So the 23rd of September. Yeesh. Well, you're going to have to hold on the fort, Tim. I'll be gone. And if something horribly wrong happens and I'm sucked up into an ulterior, universe or parallel planet or something, I'll miss you.
Parallel planet?
Yeah, you don't know. I don't know.
We're not time traveling here, Dave.
We don't know that. We don't know what this change could be, Tim.
Well, it's supposed to be the second coming of Christ in the rapture.
Right, but they're reading from the book of Luke. What about the book of Leah? What does that say? Do the two twins corroborate their stories? Well, that's all I want to know.
The book of Leah just says that's no moon.
No, that's the book of Solo.
Oh.
Yes.
I have my books mixed up, I guess.
Yeah, obviously. All right, where are we going next?
Well, there's more to the story here. That September 23rd is the date. That's the start of the downfall before the rapture and the second coming of Christ. Scores of YouTube doom videos and evangelical websites point to an astrological constellation on September 23rd matching Revelation 12:1 and 2, which will signal the start of the rapture and the second coming of Christ. The passage 12:1 and 2 reads, and a great sign appeared in heaven, a woman clothed with the sun, with the moon under her feet, and on her head a crown of 12 stars. She was pregnant and was crying out in birth pains and the agony of giving birth. Now, conspiracy theorists claim the woman in question is Virgo, and on September 23rd, the sun and moon will be in Virgo, as well as Jupiter, now being said to represent the Messiah. This happens every 12 years, so don't be that alarmed. But they claim that because of another planetary alignment representing the Lion of the tribe of Judah, it is an unprecedented event foretold in Scripture. So therefore, all of that comes together, and you have your apocalypse.
Wow. You make it just sound so matter-of-fact, Tim.
Well, you wanted it quickly, Dave, so I'm giving it to you quickly.
Yeah. Well, I just, wow. All right. Terrifying stuff. Good stuff. Can we end on a more upbeat note, Tim? Is there any? Can't we find a story about love? Can't we find a story about love and happiness and our souls coming together in a cosmic spate of sexuality? That'd be a much better way to end this segment than the end of the world.
But I have two more stories here, Dave. Are you saying
right.
I get one more story and that's it?
No, I'll let you deliver both. Go ahead.
Okay, well, I'm going with the worst one first then.
Oh, God. You just keep Eeyoring me way down. I'm going, man. I told you I'm in a sluggish mood, and this is going to get me. Go for it.
There's a mystery of a sonic weapon attack at the U.S. Embassy in Cuba, and it's deepening. At least some of the incidents were confined to certain rooms with laser-like specificity. That's a big word for me.
Were they bombarding the rooms with songs from Menudo?
Yes, and it pissed off everybody, as a matter of fact. The blaring, grinding noise jolted the American diplomat from his bed in a Havana hotel. He moved just a few feet and there was silence. He climbed back into his bed and inexplicably, the agonizing sound hit him again as if he'd walked through some invisible wall, cutting straight through his room. Soon came the hearing loss, the speech problems, symptoms both similar and altogether different from others among the at least 21 U.S. victims, and an astonishing international mystery still unfolding in Cuba. The top U.S. diplomat has called them health attacks. New details learned by the AP indicate at least some of the incidents were confined to specific rooms or even parts of rooms with laser-like specificity, baffling U.S. officials who say that the facts and the physics don't add up. None of this has a reasonable explanation, said Fulton Armstrong, a former CIA official who served in Havana long before America reopened an embassy there. It's just mystery after mystery after mystery. Suspicion initially focused on a sonic weapon and on the Cubans, yet the diagnosis of mild brain injury, considered unlikely to result from sound, has confounded the FBI, the State Department, and U.S. intelligence agencies involved in the investigation. Some victims now have problems concentrating or recalling specific words, several officials said. The latest signs of more serious damage than the U.S. government initially realized. The United States first acknowledged the attacks in August, 9 months after symptoms first were reported. The Trump administration still hasn't identified a culprit or a device to explain the attacks, according to interviews with more than a dozen current and former U.S. officials. Cuban officials and others briefed on the investigation. Most weren't authorized to discuss the probe and demanded anonymity. In fact, almost nothing about what went down in Havana is clear, but investigators have tested several theories about an intentional attack by Cuba's government, a rogue faction of its security forces, a third country like Russia, or some combination thereof. Yet they've left open the possibility of an advanced espionage operation that went horribly awry, or that some other less nefarious explanation is to blame. Aside from their homes, officials said Americans were attacked in at least one hotel, a fact not previously disclosed. An incident occurred on an upper floor of the recently renovated Hotel Capri, a 60-year-old concrete tower which steps from the Malecon, Havana's iconic waterslide promenade. The cases vary deeply, different symptoms, different recollections of what happened. In several episodes recounted by U.S. officials, victims knew what was happening in real time, and there were strong indications of a sonic attack. Some of them felt vibrations, heard sounds, loud ringing, or a high-pitched chirping similar to crickets or cicadas. Others heard a grinding noise. Some victims awoke with ringing in their ears or fumbled for their alarm clocks, only to discover that the ringing stopped when they moved away from their beds. The attacks seemed to come at night, and several victims reported that they came in minute-long bursts. Yet others heard nothing, felt nothing, and later the symptoms appeared. The scope kept widening at that, and yet there still are no answers. So there you go.
All right. How are we going to wrap up today's Supernatural News segment?
By proving I'm right, Dave.
Oh,
I'm
God,
right.
About what?
I'm always right.
Well, that's what you like to tell me. What's going on?
Skynet's going to win, Dave.
Oh, my God.
They're going to win.
Doom,
and you
doom,
know how
doom.
They're going to get you first, Dave.
Doom. Oh, really? How are they going to get me first, Tim?
You know how they're going to get you, Dave? They're going to get you where you live, my friend.
What?
They're going to get
the bathroom?
Yeah. Well,
automated toilets? Oh, my God. I'm unprepared.
Well, I didn't think of that.
Yeah.
Sex robots, Dave.
Oh, that'd be more your style, son. I've seen the Robotron 2000 in your bedroom, hidden not so cunningly under your bed, arms and legs askew.
I tore that apart. I'm just saying.
Yeah, you did. I thought it was a crime scene the first time I walked in.
Hackers, Dave. Hackers could end up programming sex robots to kill. We're all screwed in this deal. I'm just saying.
Hackers are going to make sex robots kill?
Well, yeah, it's in the story.
Ooh.
I mean,
well, that could add a whole new dimension of kind of eroticity. Is that a word?
No, I think it was the last Prince album, though, before he died.
Trademark that for me. Eroticity. I like that.
Eroticity.
It's where you have sex with something that could kill you at any time. Yeah.
So that means my computer could kill me? I'm kidding.
What, having sex with a computer?
Well, there's lots
I've
of
seen your floppy disk. I doubt that.
There's that little...
Thank you, everybody. Tip your waiters and waitresses. All right, let's get back to it. So hackers are threatening to hack the mainframe of sex bots to kill you.
Well, you're very specific about that. I never said mainframe.
Well, I'm just trying to sound more technical.
Do you know?
tired.
You know something I don't? Mr.
Maybe.
Hacker? A cybersecurity scientist has issued a bizarre warning that sex robots could one day rise up and kill their owners if hackers can get inside their heads.
What if I'm already inside their heads?
Oh, no. Last month, tech billionaire Elon Musk claimed that artificial...
Wait a minute. That is a Tim joke. If ever I've thrown one out, that was a Tim joke. And you oh-no'd me? I didn't even get a verbal high five for that. You're just pissed that I came up with that line first.
No, you throw them out all the time. I'm the one who gets punished for them. Just saying. I just figured it was a normal Monday.
That's true. Yeah. All right, so go on. They're going to get the head of these things and turn them killer.
Yeah. Last month, tech billionaire Elon Musk claimed that artificial intelligence could take over the planet, and he's not the only one concerned about the dangers of killer tech. With sex robots becoming increasingly popular, see, I'm not the only one, Dave, and sophisticated cybersecurity lecturer Dr. Nick Patterson revealed that the lifelike dolls could end up going all Terminator on us. He used the term, Dave.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm. However, in the case of sex robots, the danger isn't that the love dolls will end up developing minds of their own, Westworld style. Instead, the risk is that hackers could breach the realistic robots' inner defenses and catch their owners with their pants down.
Good grief.
You'll see what I did there?
Yeah, I saw what you did.
Mm-hmm. Patterson told Star Online that hacking into many modern-day robots, including sex bots, would be a piece of cake compared to more sophisticated gadgets like cell phones and computers.
The autonomous cars are what really worry me. I mean, they're like really getting ready to roll these things out. This just sounds like a horrible plan to me. I don't know, man. The idea of self-driving cars, oh, sure, it sounds alluring at first. Who wouldn't want to flake out in the back seat and just set your car to grandmama's house? So you go through the woods and over the bridge, but you get to nap the whole time or watch TV, maybe porn, I don't know, whatever you're into. Oh. But the whole idea that those could be hacked and just start like carnage car wrecks, man, I don't know.
Dave, I thought of the perfect nightmare scenario.
What's that?
You're in your autonomous vehicle, going wherever you're going, getting a little nookie from the sex robot.
Yeah.
The sex robot snips your junk off, and the car goes and crashes into a brick wall, and you're done.
That's like the least happy thought I've heard of all week, Tim. Why would that come to mind?
I don't know. I mean, you brought up the scenario both. I just figured just tie them together.
All right. I guess.
Yeah. The tech expert from Australia's Deakin University says hackers can hack into a robot or a robotic device and have full control of the connections, arms, legs, and other attached tools like knives or welding devices. See, this guy's even more demented. Once a robot is hacked, the hacker has full control and can issue instructions to the robot. Oh, my God. The warning may sound a little far-fetched, but the robots run using an operating system just like a phone or PC. And as with all devices, if that system is ever connected to the internet, then it becomes possible for hackers to break into it.
God. And then what if they're able to like look through the eyes of the sex bot and see what you're doing? Yeah, that's where the terror begins to lie, right?
My O-face is not pretty.
No, it's not. Not that I've seen it.
I know you've looked.
It's usually through the crack in the window.
What?
Just because I hear the screaming. It sounds like a bloodbath going on in there. I had to look, make sure nobody was getting hurt.
The cyber defense guru added, he didn't ask anything. He added, the last thing you want is for a hacker to have control over one of these robots. Once hacked, they could absolutely be used to perform physical actions for an advantageous scenario or to cause damage.
Wasn't that part of the whole Austin Powers movie, the sex bots that he had that would start shooting and try to kill you?
Oh, yeah, baby.
Yeah. Austin Powers was a fortune teller, dude. He knew.
Yeah, oh, yeah. I'm just afraid now, Dave. I'm just afraid.
You should be. Yeah. Stick with the inflatable ones, Tim. They're the safest route.
They keep popping.
And if you're looking for more of a challenge, just fill it with helium. Fill it with helium.
So when I accidentally bite down on the nipple, I get a higher voice?
That's right.
Sorry about that, baby.
All right. We're going to take a break. We've got ParaShare stories coming up your way.
Beyond the darkness.
All right, welcome back to the best in paranormal talk radio. This is Supernatural News and ParaShare Monday. I'm your host, Dave Schrader, along with me, Tim Dennis. Tomorrow, Tim, one of our favorite guests is back, Steph Young. We're going to be talking with her on True Crime Tuesday. and she's going to be talking to us about the smiley face killers. And she has some interesting insights and thoughts and theories on this. So we're going to discuss that tomorrow. Plus, we're going to be sharing I Knew a Murderer stories. So many of you have sent us in stories where you believe you've encountered a murderer. You knew a murderer. You might have even been related to a murderer. So we're going to talk about those stories and share those tomorrow on True Crime Tuesday. And listen, if you're on the Fence Post and you have not signed up yet to listen to True Crime Tuesday, please do. Sign up now. $5 a month. That's all. Just $5 a month. Come on. Stop with the excuses. Stop the lame answers of, I'm not going to pay for radio. Listen, you like the stuff we do. You like the shows we provide. And you pay $5 for a lot stupider things than your buddies Dave and Tim. So get the show. Be a part of the game with us. And your name is automatically entered into a drawing. And on my birthday, November 22nd, we're going to draw 3 names and give away 3 more 1-year subscriptions to True Crime Tuesday. That's right. 3 names. We're going to draw on my birthday. It's the year of giving thanks, Tim. And because it's my 50th birthday, I want to give away 3 more. How many times do you get a gift on somebody else's birthday?
Not very often.
That's right. So I'm here. Well, Jesus' birthday. Everybody gets gifts on that, it seems. But in this case, Dave from Darkness Radio and Beyond the Darkness, will be giving away 3 1-year memberships to True Crime Tuesday. So sign up now. Everybody that signs up between now and November 22nd is automatically added into that drawing. But if you like what you hear on the best in paranormal talk radio, you're going to love what you hear on the best in true crime talk radio. True Crime Tuesday, every Tuesday, a brand new 60 to 90 minute episode of true crime, backed up by at least another 20 to 30 minutes of dumb crime, stupid criminals, or I Knew a Murderer, or other great topics. So make sure you sign up for it. And you can do that by going to darknessradio.com. darknessradio.com. Click on the True Crime Tuesday banner and sign up now. And again, everything that we get from that, I'm not going to lie to you, goes to help support this show and pay for everything that we do to keep this show afloat as well. So when you're supporting that show, you're supporting True Crime Tuesday and you're supporting Beyond the Darkness. So if you can, just go give us a hand. $5 a month. That's all it takes to be a member in good standing and be entered into that drawing. So that's pretty cool right in itself. Wouldn't you say, Mr. Dennis?
Absolutely.
All right, we're going to get to some emails here. And I do have a production company right now reaching out to me, Tim. They are filming right now, actively filming for a new TV series on a major network. And that major network might rhyme with Schmetlicks. That's all I'm going to say. It might rhyme with Schmetlicks for a brand new series. And they're looking for people that have had horrifying paranormal experiences. And maybe even an ongoing experience or an alien abduction. That's what they're really looking for, too. So if you've had a series that could of paranormal activity that has just been terrifying and frightening to you or your family or friends, please contact me, dave@darknessradio.com. Give me a little synopsis of what's happening to you or happened to you and your contact information, and we'll pass it on along to the production company, and you may be featured in a brand new series that'll be airing on an upcoming new series on a major network later on this year. So please email us right now, and maybe your story will be submitted for, if not making it this season, you may be a part of next season. They're always looking for great stories and tales. So again, email me, dave@darknessradio.com. dave@darknessradio.com to share your stories. This email comes to us, as a matter of fact, I mentioned the same thing over the weekend on Coast to Coast AM. And he says, "Hi, Dave, I was listening to Coast to Coast this weekend, and I heard you say to send an email for possible submissions to a production company. Well, my name is Philip, and this is a brief summary of the experiences as it follows. In late August 2010, I was planning a move to Savannah, Georgia. After a recent divorce, I decided to relocate with my 2 children to a new city to start over. The night before we left for our new residence, I had one of my 2 lucid dreams that I can never recall having. In the dream, I found myself in the loft attic area of the home that I would be moving into in the morning. I had a sense that I was being compelled to go there against my will. Once there, I was confronted by a very dark and extremely large presence that exuded the most powerful feeling of anger and hatred that I've ever felt. In this dream, the entity spoke to me from within my own mind, telling me not to come home, not to come to its home, that neither myself nor my children were welcome. Through this ordeal, I was intently trying to make out the identity of this mass that towered before me. only to sense that I could not see its true form because it would not allow me to see it. Now, upon waking, I was unsettled by the vividity and emotional weight of this dream. I then started the moving truck, and off we went to our new home. We lived there for approximately 2 months before strange things started to happen. Strange, but very subtle and easily chalked up to nerves from being in a new home in a new city. Shortly after I started hearing my name spoken, aloud at times, I was alone in the house. At one point, I decided I'd had enough, and I went upstairs to the loft, alone, late at night, to settle my nerves. I thought it would be best to confront the corner of the room from my dream. What happened next made me a believer. I was turning to leave, full of self-righteous smugness and feeling as though I had taken control of the situation. As I approached the stairs to leave, I feel and I know that both of my calves were hit, and I was pushed with great force. 13 steep steps, a broken gargoyle statue, and an abrupt stop by the wall at the foot of the stairs left me bruised and afraid that legs and ribs had been broken. Eventually, dragging myself with my upper body through the kitchen and out of the house, I never went upstairs again, and within weeks, moved out, never to return to that house. In the remaining weeks that we lived there, I made certain that I was never alone here again. In this account of actual events, and if it interests you enough to forward to the production company for review, it would be greatly appreciated. Loved your show the other night. Great job and great interview. Can't wait to listen again. That comes from Philip. Well, thank you, Philip. And we did promote that over to the production company, and wanted to share that as well. Man, that's a creepy story right there, Tim.
Oh, yeah.
Freaky stuff. All right. Hey, Dave, just heard you for the first time on Coast to Coast. I was abducted 3 nights in a row about 20 years ago. I remember most of it. Little grays would show up in my bedroom one night, and they slipped in next to me with arms underneath me and took me through the wall. I could see the inside of the wall as we went up. Short version, there was a female tall alien. However, her face was always blurred out. I couldn't see the details of her face, and she was asking me how much Earth was populated. I explained there are neighborhoods which make up city, and cities which make up countries, and countries which make up the world, so on and so forth. Then they came back 2 more nights, more of the same. When we were coming back, we were flying over Anchorage Airport, and I said, the airport will see you, and they said, no, they can't see us. And we slowly came to my house, and I was let down. I ended up needing to see a shrink. I also had a small round thing in my wrist that I could move around with my finger. I decided to have it checked out, and then it disappeared. A few days after this all happened, my wife came to me and told me there was an alien that also took her, but she couldn't remember anything other than it freaked her out. It had 3 long fingers that it stuck in her face. That's creepy.
Yeah.
That is really weird. Well, we did share that story, Bob, as well with the production company. I've sent them on, so hopefully you'll be hearing back from them. Hi, Dave and Tim. Now, we did that story earlier, Tim, about Jesus in the clouds, right?
Yep.
Rainy Day Jesus.
Rainy Day Jesus.
Hi, Dave and Tim. I'm listening to the Darchives, and a caller just phoned in to say that when he was younger, he looked up and saw what appeared to be Chinese characters made of clouds scrolling across the sky. After hearing that, I had to write and share my experience. About a month ago, I'm sitting on my back porch enjoying a beautiful summer afternoon. I looked up, and to my amazement, what appeared to be Egyptian hieroglyphs made of clouds were scrolling across the clear blue skies. They were clear, they were crisp, and I could make them out perfectly. The scrolling went on for quite a while. I just stared, wishing I had a camera that could capture what I was seeing, but I didn't, so I couldn't. Anyhow, I never told anyone about this because I thought it sounded too weird to be true, but hearing your caller made me want to share my experience with you. Thanks again for your show, and I love you too, and that comes from Marie. Aw, she loves us, Tim.
Aw.
I love to be loved. Dave. Sorry, Tim, you're not in on this one.
No.
Dave, I heard you talking about dream visitations recently, and I have a question that I hope you can answer. My mom passed away a few days before Thanksgiving back in 2009. Since then, I'll occasionally have a dream where she's alive in the dream, but she's not around. Sometimes she has abandoned me, my father and my brother. At other times, she's just not around. I've always assumed that the dreams were she's abandoned us means that some part of me is blaming her for dying and leaving me in charge of caring for my father, a disabled vet, and my adult brother who's autistic. Could it be something else? Is she or something trying to send me a message that I'm just too dense to understand? Thanks, Brian. And that's a longtime listener, third or fourth time writer, he says. Brian, again, I'm not a psychologist, and we're going to do a show on dreams next week. And I promise I will bring this letter up as part of it to our guest and just have him weigh in on it. But I would say in this case, when you have a dream visitation, it is vivid, so clean, crisp, and clear. It is a real moment captured in time, and it's just wrapped into a dream. It's unlike any dream you've ever had. I've had dreams since my mom passed away where she's kind of in the background, just part of it. And I'm kind of aware, hey, that's my mom, but it just fades. It's not like I'm shocked or like my grandfather's visitation. I knew he was dead. I knew he was coming to talk to me about being dead. I understood. There was this psychological connection. So I knew what was coming next. And that was kind of the difference, I think, in this case. I think from what you said, I think you've got it right. When I read it the first time, and Tim, I don't know if you want to weigh in on this, but I think the feeling of abandonment and everything, I do. I think it's subconsciously you trying to deal with coming to terms with the loss of your mother. And I think it's more of a psychological thing. I don't think that there's some grand message. I don't think that there's some grand scheme going on or that somebody's trying to get your attention that way. I think, though, you need to forgive yourself and forgive your mom to move on. And once you do that, you may get a much more clear message from her. So I hope that helps out a little bit. Tim, do you want to weigh in on this?
No, he addressed it to you.
Okay. Well, all right. Such a little girl. All right.
No, I'm not being sore about it. I'm just saying he addressed it to you. He wanted your opinion.
Well, yeah. They wanted yours too. So Dave and Tim sending a story as per your request. You two feed my craving for understanding and knowledge and regarding the absolute certainty that we as humans don't actually know everything about everything. Warmly, this comes from Lisa. Well, speak for yourself. I know everything about everything. Just go ahead and ask me when I'm really crazy tired. I'll let you know. All right, this is a secondhand story. This experience is not mine. It comes secondhand from a former coworker. I almost felt as if it were happening to me as I worked with her throughout the span of her newfound belief in the supernatural. She was renting a small house in northwest Arkansas, just her and her cat. Soon after her move, Diana noticed a difference in her cat. It would hiss for no apparent reason and bound into the room as if it were being chased. She also started to notice other things. Kitchen cupboards would be open when she came home from work. A bowl would be sitting in the middle of the kitchen floor, and lights would randomly flicker. It wasn't an especially old house, but an active one. For a while, she explained it away. She'd forgotten to close the cupboards before leaving for work. Perhaps the cat had played with them. Maybe the landlord had come by. He lived in the neighborhood nearby. Eventually, she just got used to it. Diana decided to have friends over for Thanksgiving, which included a young boy of about 5. Up in the attic, she had some toys, so she sent him up the stairs to play while she prepared dinner. When time came to get him, Diana heard him carrying on what sounded like a conversation. Assuming the boy's mother had joined him upstairs, she headed up, but quickly realized he was alone. He was the only one talking. When she asked him who he was talking to, he said, "The old lady standing over there." And he pointed to nothingness. Diana was aghast. She couldn't deny the presence any longer. When Diana pressed him for information, he said she was just a nice lady who had been playing with him. Shortly thereafter, she got the nerve up to ask the landlord, who also owned the home, if he'd heard anything similar from other tenants in the past. It was a strange conversation, and she felt awkward bringing it up, but he said no, nothing. He then matter-of-factly stated that he actually grew up in that house and nothing strange had happened to him. In fact, his mother still lived in the home until her passing just a few months back. Suddenly, everything made sense. Deciding that she had never been truly scared by the ghost and armed with the knowledge of who her spirit actually was, she decided to confront her. Diana simply stated, "You're welcome to stay here, but just don't frighten me." After that, the events settled, but never completely stopped. Whenever Diana would have friends stay over, she would make them aware, making sure guests knew that nothing really frightening or threatening ever happened to her. One particular friend got up in the middle of the night to go to the bathroom, flipped on the hall light, and headed for the bathroom when the hair on the back of her neck started to stand up, and she remembered Diana's caution. The friend exclaimed, "Stupid ghost," and the hall light turned off immediately. And the friend screamed for Diana. When the friend told her what happened, Diana stated that she had never said anything in anger or fear to the spirit and that she didn't know what to do. The friend calmed a bit and then said she was just frightened by the ghost and didn't mean to make her angry. At that moment, the hall light flipped back on. When Diana eventually moved out of the house, a male acquaintance of hers rented it. After he'd lived there a couple of weeks, she decided to ask if he'd had any experiences. Apparently, the spirit did not care for a man living there, and the man had truly become frightened by his own experiences. He told Diana that it was so bad he decided to bring a local pastor in to help the spirit possibly cross over. Apparently, it had been successful, as the experiences completely ceased after the pastor's visit. A tidy bow on a story I love to share every chance I get. Thanks for letting me vent. Warmly, Lisa from Coconut Creek, Florida. Well, thank you, Lisa. We like hearing stories, even if they're secondhand. The whole animal thing, though, Tim, I get a lot of people that send me animal stories, and I'm finding it harder and harder to attach them to the paranormal. You know, now that I've got cats and I've had them for a few years, the cats are just psychotic. Plain out psychotic.
Yeah.
They run from room to room like their ass is on fire and they have to get into the imaginary bucket of water in that other room. Then they get in the room and forget why they're there and flop to the floor and fall asleep.
Right.
Or they jump up in your lap, claw you, and then run off and then come back and nuzzle you for love. Cats are just mental animals. That's all it breaks down to. So can they see and witness the ghosts? Maybe. Are they hissing at something supernatural? Possibly. I think more likely they're just having a neurotic breakdown. I think cats, Tim, are bipolar little creatures who just are in a constant state of schizoid. They're loving and insane all at the same time.
I don't disagree.
Yeah. All right. Hi, lovely Dave and lovelier Tim.
Oh.
Son of a bitch.
Well.
Hope you're both well. I thought I'd share this story with you. It's not actually mine, but my brother's. As such, he'd probably prefer you to not use his name. Better not use my name either, just in case. You got it, Mike. We won't use your name or your brother's name, Bob. We'll pass it right over.
Don't.
What? I'm not going to use Mike or Bob's name, Tim. I just said that. What?
No.
Tim, as long as I don't talk about Mike and Bob, we're fine. Don't worry about it. Yeah, right. God, you're such a nervous Nelly. Mike and Bob will not be a part of the story, Tim. I'll replace their names as Bob and Mike. Nobody will even know. How about that? All right. He's always been more spiritually in tune than I am, much to my annoyance, but sometimes he tells me stories. I'm glad that it's he and not me that it happens to. I know that he would like some answers regarding what happened to him. So if you have any of the listeners out there that have ideas or can put him in touch with someone that can help, please do let me know. This is Mike's story. No, it's okay, Tim. It's okay. I changed the name. Nobody will ever know. I had a similar experience to this when I was in the States in 2003. Coincidentally or not, I had just got back from another trip to the U.S., a holiday visiting the extraterrestrial highway. And Rachel and the Alien, the black mailbox, etc. A trip that I've always wanted to take. The trip was great and just perfect for a couple of UFO nuts. We were seemingly buzzed twice by a jet plane, saw a cloud form from nothing over Groom Lake, a cloud that seemed to have lights in it, and on top of it, a 40-mile car journey back to the ET highway from Rachel took only 10 minutes. This was after the second buzz-by by the F-22. Was this a case of missing time, perhaps? I was just back home for a couple of days. It was late, around 12 to 1 a.m., when I started to hear strange noises around the house, things dropping and falling, but I couldn't quite work out where they were coming from. Then, all of a sudden, a feeling of dread came over me, and I had a strong sense not to go upstairs. My wife and I sleep in the middle floor, my kids on the top, so of course, ignored the feeling and went to check on them. Oh, see, now Bob's a good dad. Mike's a good dad, Tim.
Oh,
because if I thought there was something evil on that third floor, those kids are just going to have to learn to fend for themselves. We all have that moment. This is the throwing them in the deep end to make them swim moment, Tim.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so Mike's story continues. Everything was fine. I thought maybe the kids may have knocked something from the bedside table, accounting for the noises, but everything was in place. I kissed the kids, came down, and thought, stop being weird, and I just fell asleep. After a while, I thought I was dreaming. As I saw myself in bed, I sensed something was above me. Not an object, but a large black mass. This caused me to wake. As I started to come round, there was a ringing in my ears, which got louder, fast. At this point, my arms felt like they were floating, and then my shoulders and torso started to lift towards the mass, as if I were being pulled. I couldn't move anything except my eyes. All I could think was, do not go upstairs, so I resisted the pull. Was this actual reason for the feeling of dread earlier in the evening? That the upstairs I feared was not in my house, but wherever this mass wanted to take me? I hit the bed and woke with full body movement, the ringing still in my ears, which is by now was incredibly loud and really painful. As stated before, it was similar to an experience I had when I was in the States in 2003, except that time I don't remember my arms and torso being pulled. So that's Bob and Mike's story. No. I know that he and I both would really like some light shed on this. Thanks so much. Long live Beyond the Darkness, your number one fan from the UK, Mike. Bob. No. No, Tim, I've changed their names. Nobody's going to know who we're talking about. Oh. We just talked about an alien abduction story where the kid was being passed through the ceiling and the floors. This sounds very alien in nature to me. It could also be a form of nighttime astral projection when you leave your physical form and float up. You know what? I'm going to mark this story, Tim. I'm going to mark it with a P, and I'm going to put it in the oven for Timmy and me. Oh. And I'm going to talk to our dream guy about that, too, because that's kind of an interesting story and has a weird angle to it. And I'm curious what our dream expert is going to say about things like sleep paralysis and these things that we see at night and these alien abduction scenarios, Tim. Okay. I like to call them scenarios. So we'll talk about those. Go ahead and fill time for a second because I've got to make sure that I've got my computer working right here so I can pull up the next story, if you would be so kind, good sir.
Sure. Well, you know what? I do want to mention one thing, Dave. On Sunday afternoon, it was actually kind of a sad occasion for yours truly, and I'm sure for a lot of different fans around the world, is we found out that Bobby the Brain Heenan passed away at the age of 73. And Bobby had a lot of different health problems, as a lot of people know, and including throat cancer and different issues. But Bobby finally succumbed to ill health at the some people reported he was 72 years old. Some people reported he was 73, but much too young. Nonetheless,
I think I've seen ancient Egyptian hieroglyphs with him in it. There could be a chance he's over 3,000 years old, Tim.
Well, there may be. But Bobby was not only just a great wrestling manager and a great wrestler when he was younger, but an overall amazing entertainer, very funny man, and could spin a yarn like nobody's business. So just prayers and thoughts are with Bobby's family at this time, as I'm sure they're going through some grief and loss, and strength for them as they get through this time.
Right. All right. Our next email. Hey, Dave and Tim. I got into your show through my youngest brother, who shares a fascination of all things paranormal with me. He and I, along with our dad, have had numerous experiences in our lives. He can share some of his own stories with you, but I thought I would share one that was a recurring event for me for quite some time. Ooh, I like where this is going already. I had been reading Brad Steiger's books, Real Ghost Stories, when I came across a type of spirit I realized I had been experiencing for quite some time and had never heard about before, called a Vardor, V-A-R-D-O-G-R. Vardor?
I think so.
This is a spirit that announces the arrival of someone before they actually get to where they're going. Usually it manifests by the sound of footsteps or doors opening and closing. I began thinking about this and came to the conclusion that my youngest brother, Brad, must have been sending out this manifestation when he still lived in the same house. He used to work nights at a restaurant, and I'm very much a night owl, so I would still be awake when he got home. Our house had a long deck across the back, and my bedroom was right next to the laundry room, which had the back door and is the one we always used. So I could hear anytime someone arrived. Many nights, I would think I heard Brad's car pull into the driveway, his alarm chirp, and then his footsteps across the deck. Then I would think I heard the door open and close as if he had come in. I would wait for his usual knock on my bedroom door that was always followed by a, "Hey, Ann," before he proceeded to his room across the hall. Many nights, this didn't happen when I thought he had gotten home, but instead happened closer to a half an hour or more after I heard the initial sounds of Brad returning home. I usually brushed this thing off thinking it was me just imagining he had come home. It wasn't until after Brad moved out and left that book by Brad Steiger that I found out about the Vardor and realized that must have been what I was experiencing. And that's interesting, Tim, because going back to animals, and there's more of this email, but I'm just thinking back to this. There's been some really fascinating studies where they have put cameras up at homes to watch people's pets. Mm-hmm. And then they have a camera on the person. And it's interesting how the dog or cat may be laying in a secluded part of the house, and they've watched the cameras in sync. And as the person gets up at the end of the day and grabs their purse or their briefcase getting ready to head out, the dog will get up and walk over to the door and sit down.
Yeah.
And they'll be watching this person and tracking them, and the dog will lay down, and the person is like 2 blocks away, and all of a sudden the dog sits up. And now, again, dogs have a remarkable sense of hearing and smell. So It could be sensing that, but that is still pretty amazing. So maybe this whole idea of the Vardor is part of our presence that we're always projecting forward. And maybe that's how sometimes we get that sense of, ooh, I don't want to go in there. Maybe it's because part of us, our essence has already crossed that threshold.
Maybe.
And I wonder if sometimes, when you're kind of out of your head and you're going to go do something, you walk into a room and you can't remember why you walked into that room. Mm-hmm. I wonder if we went through that door before our consciousness had a chance to, and that's why it gets lost. And they tell you sometimes to go back into that room. I wonder if there's more to it that might be attached to that.
There might be. There just might be.
Past the Dutchie on the left-hand side, Tim. I could be just needing a good hit. I don't know.
You and Snoop. Yep.
Yeah. All right. It wasn't until after Brad moved out and left the book by Brad Steiger that I found out about the Vardor and realized that this must have been what I was experiencing. Our family has many more stories I hope to share with you guys in the future, but to me, that one was more interesting than ones involving something you don't hear about as much. Thanks for a great show with so many interesting topics and guests, and that comes from Annie. This is just a personal share and not at all something pertaining to a supernatural story at all. But a few months ago, and I love this part, Tim, I emailed you to thank you for the recommendation of the Bark Box for my Great Dane. And when listening to your show the other day, hearing you talk about how your dog snuggles up with the giant sloth toy and how the cats love the actual box, it reminded me of my pets. Belle, my Great Dane, curls up with her giant sloth at night in her kennel, but my cat Whiskey can't wait for the Bark Box to be empty so Whiskey can lay in it. I've attached a photo to share with you of Belle and Whiskey, or to share with you of Belle and Whiskey on Bark Box Day, and it is really cute. It's exactly how my pets react. The dog's standing there playing with the toy, and good old Whiskey's cuddled up in the Bark Box box.
Aw.
Thank you for sharing that. I love animals. Not in like a weird way.
Yeah. You should clarify. Yeah.
All right, Tim. This next one is entitled, our final story for the night,
Okay.
Little Drummer Boy.
You said that so evil.
I know. That's what the whole intention is, right? Because you hear Little Drummer Boy and it's, you just start thinking, pa-rum-pa-pum-pum.
Yeah.
I don't know why I did it as the Cowardly Lion,
I don't
but
know either, yeah.
Come, they told me, pa-rum-pa-pum-pum. Hi, Dave. When I was younger, around 4 or 5, my mom said I used to have this imaginary friend I would interact with when I was at preschool in the playground, except she was always questioned if he could be imaginary or if it was something more paranormal because of the vivid detail I would give of him that perfectly resembled a Victorian school drummer boy, which is something a 4 to 5-year-old would not know anything about. With the tall feathers on his hat, navy blue outfit, and heavy drum around his neck, he resembled something from a marching band in the Navy. He had no name, as I knew, but what I didn't tell my mom was that he would sometimes follow me home. except I never saw him at my house. I could just sense that he was there. One time, when I was much older, I vividly remember I sat in my room on my own staring into the doorway, and it's as if I was in some sort of trance. I was conscious, but I could not move or blink. I was completely focused on the wall when this figure manifested for only a second. And it was a much older gentleman in full Navy attire. As soon as I reacted, he was gone, and I never saw either of them again. I sometimes wondered if they had anything to do with one another, so I'm currently doing some research, and I'll let you know what I find out. That's from Tabitha, 21 years old, out of Portsmouth, UK. That's a really cool story, Tabitha. And here's something you might consider. Maybe this was your past incarnation, and you were just kind of having a shared memory of living and the dead at the same time. And the reason that you saw the full adult manifestation many years later is it progressed at the same time you did. So you were just having kind of cognitive memories of your past life in waking terms. What do you think of that, Tim?
Wow. You blew my mind there, Dave.
You think I need sleep, don't you?
I do, yeah.
All right, well, I'll go to bed then. Thank you all for tuning in and being part of our world. We'll be back again tomorrow with more of the best in paranormal talk radio and the best in true crime talk radio. Go sign up now for a chance to get a 1-year paid subscription. Everybody that signs up for True Crime Tuesday between now and November 22nd, my 50th birthday, will automatically be entered into a drawing. 3 lucky winners will be pulled to get a 1-year subscription to True Crime Tuesday. Sign up by visiting darknessradio.com and click on the True Crime Tuesday banner. For Tim Dennis, I'm Dave Schrader. This is the best in paranormal talk radio. This is Beyond the Darkness.